All right, so this of course is the big development that we're tracking from the Singhu border at the moment. Our team of reporters Saurabh Shukla and Arvind Gunasekar are reporting live from the Singhu border, where the situation appears to be extremely tense. There have been reports of stone pelting, lathi-charge and even tear gas that has been used, as there are some protesters who have gathered at the Singhu border. These are people who have come in. One doesn't know whether they're affiliated to a group or whether they have come in with a particular intention. But what we're learning is that this group of people who have gathered at the Singhu border have been let in by the Delhi police. What we're also learning is that they have in fact tried and broken down certain tents and tried to destroy the infrastructure of the protest. So tents have been broken in some parts, and some washing machines that were put up there. This is all, remember, part of the infrastructure of the Singhu border protest. The Singhu border really has been the epicenter of this protest, which has gone on for more than 65 days. Heavy police deployment is present at the Singhu border. There are a certain section of people who've gathered there demanding that the protests end and the farmers be evicted from that area. Let's get a live update from my colleague Arvind Gunasekar, who is tracking the details of this story from the Singhu border. Arvind, break it down for our viewers. What is happening?
Jessica, earlier in the day we were explaining how the police have increased the security here, where they have deployed many companies of the Central Armed Police Force, and they have also today, they did not even let any vehicles inside. They have stopped all vehicles, including the media vehicles, also the Delhi-Haryana water tank, at least 2 kilometers well ahead of the Singhu border protest site. So everything was going normal. All of a sudden, a group of 200 people arrived inside the Singhu border. That's something that the police have to explain. How did they let these people, how did these 200 people enter the Singhu border site? Even when we entered today morning, they asked us to show our ID card. Everything was pressed. Even our own vehicle, our own OBS was not allowed inside. Even the Delhi-Haryana water tanker was not allowed to take. The Delhi Minister Satyan again also came in person. He came here. He spoke to the police officials there. The police officials sternly told him that they will not let any vehicle inside for security reasons. But that's the case. How does this group of 200 people enter inside? They came with a small color auto with a speaker. They came with 200 and after that 300 more people joined them. So as of now, some around 500 people claiming themselves to be locals. They came inside the protest site, and then they started raising slogans first, and then slowly they moved towards the tent, and then they started uprooting the tent. That's when the clashes began between the protesting farmers. That those farmers have been protesting here for the last 63 days. So all of a sudden, these people, they came and they started uprooting the tent. The clash erupted between both the sides, and both the sides started fighting among themselves. And then slowly the stone pelting also started between both the sides. That's when the Delhi police personnel tried to diffuse the situation. They have now started using tear gas shells to separate both the sides, and also to diffuse the situation. The situation still seems to be very tense here. The police is trying to bring the situation under control by using tear gas shells. But one thing the Delhi police needs to answer here is, how did this group of 200 people enter the protest street? Because that's something that they have to explain. Because even when the minister himself came to ask the police to allow their own vehicle, allow their own Delhi-Haryana water tanker, that was not allowed. But in that case, how did this group of 200 people all of a sudden come inside? And again, 300 people joined them also. So as of now, some 500 people are inside there, and then the clashes still continue. Police still trying to control the situation, and they are using a tear gas shell to make sure that both the sides stay away from each other.
Arvind, very crucial information that you're reporting. A group of protesters has entered the perimeter of the Singhu border protesting site. How have they been allowed to enter at the moment is a question that still remains to be answered. What you're also reporting is that they have been seen uprooting tents, destroying the infrastructure in terms of washing machines, etc., that have in fact been set up at the Singhu border. And the police on their part are in fact trying to ensure that the two different protesting groups stay away from each other. Tear gas has been used, lathi charge has in fact been used. Now, Arvind, the security had already been beefed up at the Singhu border, ever since one saw increased momentum after Rakesh Tiket's address last night. Now, of course, we learned of protesters, tractors arriving from Punjab, Haryana, Uttar Pradesh towards the Ghazipur border as well. Have the numbers increased at the Singhu border?
Rishika, that's something both the states are giving contradictory statement. If you could speak to the Delhi police officials, what they are saying is that after what happened on January 26, the movement has weakened, and most of the farmers have started going back to their own homes. That's the version of the Delhi police officials. But if you could speak to the farmers leaders here, what they are saying is that no, that's not the case. Whoever came here, whoever were part of the last 63 days movement, they are still very much here. The movement is still intact, and the protest is continuing, and there is the protest, the movement has not weakened. So that's the version from the Farmers Union. But what is the problem here is that we ourselves cannot go and take a stock of the situation there, because all the entry and exit roads, all the small lanes that were used to reach the main stage, that have been blocked by the Delhi police officials. They themselves have used cement blocks to block all those lanes. So we ourselves cannot go there and see what is the situation now, whether the people have left or the people are still there. That's something that either we have to rely on the police side or whether we have to rely on the farmer side. So that's something that we are not able to give an accurate figure whether people have left or not. But what is happening now is very, very worrying, because this is something very, very unusual, because this movement has been going here for the last 63 days. There was no such clashes between the locals here and also the farmers here. All of a sudden, a group of 200 people, even yesterday a group of 100 people came, the same group. Let's make it very clear, Rishika, the same group of 100 came yesterday, and then they raised slogans and they left. Today again they came with 200, they came inside. That's something the Delhi police have to answer. How did they come? Despite so much of security, despite massive deployment of security, how did the people enter inside the main area where the protest is happening? That with a vehicle, with a blue color vehicle. And how was they allowed? So they came there and then they started raising slogans. All of a sudden they entered the premises, they started uprooting the tent, and that's where the classes started. Till even that particular situation, if the Delhi police wanted, they could have dispersed this group of 200 people. When they first came there, they could have dispersed this group of 200 people, saying that this is a situation is not very conducive here. So they could have uprooted, they could have at least moved them away so that both the sides don't clash each other.